The third one, it's different. There's a voice speaking to another voice. We have second person. However, look at this in one or two ways. Most of us have an internal voice where we refer to ourselves in the second person. Come on, you, be better. Come on, you can do this. And what it does is it creates a sort of familiarity with the internal self, an internal conversation, a way in which you can argue with yourself or push yourself forward or backward, and a way in which you can engage at a distance from yourself and make these judgments. It also reminds us of a certain universality of experience, which is what the modernists are really interested in. So this one seems to be occurring at night time. So we've had the evening, we've had the morning, now we're at night time. We're at, 10, 11 o'clock at night. It was a winter's evening before. This one gets a sense of a summer's evening. It's not exactly specifically spoken about, but when you tossed a blanket from the bed you lay upon your back and waited, you very much have the image of what it's like to lay awake on a summer's night. And now that's not necessarily definitive, and that's not necessarily exactly what's going on here. But if we're talking about time, and winter has been present in the previous prelude, in the first one, then we must assume that some kind of seasonal malaise is part of the story behind Eliot's work. Can't sleep, hot night, toss a blanket from the bed. Although summer, you mightn't have a blanket on the bed, so it's up for debate. You dozed and watched the night revealing the thousand sordid images of which your soul was constituted. So now you get angst, an internal angst and concern and worry, of which your soul constituted a thousand sordid images. You could argue that that's hyperbole, but really, is it? I mean, what it's like to lie awake, I'm sure many of us do, and worry over different things. Those of you HSC students, you've got many sleepless nights, I'm sure, because the HSC you shouldn't, but you do. We teachers, we worry that we're doing this correctly. Hopefully we are. Of which your soul was constituted, was made up of. And so here you have angst, but you've also got existential. Because the idea of existentialism is, you're bringing the soul into being, you're bringing the identity into being, you're bringing the self into being through work, through thought, through study, through meditation, whatever it is. And so the modernist's soul is brought together through sordid imagery, which is indeed a problem. They flickered against the ceiling, and when all the world came back and the light crept up between the shutters. So this is another return to consciousness, similar to Prelude 2, where the person is returned to consciousness. You heard the sparrows in the gutters. Nothing beautiful there, nothing against sparrows, but the sparrow is, of course, an urban bird in many ways. And it's everywhere, ubiquitous. It's not unusual. It's not a beautiful herald. It's not an owl or a parrot or anything. It's a sparrow in the gutters, so it's diseased. You had such a vision of the street as the street hardly understands. Now that could be a positive or a negative image there, but the contention that we're in is, of course, you're seeing underneath the sordidness and into the soul of the street, of what it is becoming, what it is developing into, which is this place of Dante's Inferno, really. Sitting along the bed's edge, so this character, or at least you've moved from the bed where you curled the papers from your hair or clasped yellow soles from the feet. This is, ugly imagery, of course, in palms of both soiled hands. An aggressively ugly image at the end. No hope. Only despair. Angst. The soul has been built from sordidness and ugliness, because that is all that is there to create and build it. The only living creature is a sparrow. The modernist.